Hi, this is Conrad Zimmerman of FistShark Marketing. If you love the show and our weird brand of humor, we hope you'll consider making a small monthly contribution through Patreon. For less than the cost of a pack of condoms in a Haitian duty-free shop, you can help us to make more irreverent nonsense for your enjoyment. Just visit patreon.com/fistshark or click the big Patreon link at fistshark.com for more details. And thanks for listening.
Good evening, Conrad. This is your corporate-mandated, legally bound physician, Dr. Nightscream. I apologize for calling at this late hour. I hope I didn't interrupt dinner with your family or intercourse. But as you know, the lab is open all hours, and I don't medically require sleep anymore. So if you have a problem with my hours of operation, talk to corporate. As for why I'm calling, it pains me to have to continuously contact you about this, but it is vitally important to know the exact measurements of your bladder. I'm running out of time. I don't really want to go over your head and bring in Craig on this. No, not that Craig. Look, as long as I get the measurements, I don't particularly care how they're required. Ideally, I'd like to schedule you for an appointment. Take a lunch break. Come on down, we'll pop you open, pull out the old Sears Craftsman measuring tape, get you all sewn up in time to get back to work. We ran out of anesthetic because of the budget cuts, but if I play my cards right, you probably won't even need it. And of course, you can do it yourself. You're a smart, nubile young man with a high pain threshold. You'll get a friend to help. Maybe hold a mirror for you. That would at least dodge the whole copay angle that you always seem to blow me off with. Look, if you do go and do it yourself, make sure to also record the current color of your bladder, preferably matched to the closest Pantone color, if you can. Don't be sloppy about it. Look, just call me back when you get this message. I'm always here. Always.
Got a bit of an odd one today.
What's that?
There is a problem with one of the products that we recently launched, but when I say problem, it's unusual. It's a problem for anybody on the outside looking in, but those affected seem perfectly... Well, let me explain. As you know, we recently launched Stank Puffs, a new sugar brand of cereal.
Mm-hmm.
It's sold relatively well. It's not up there with Honey Nut Cheerios or anything like that. But it's moderate. The kids love it. It's perfectly healthy and fine as far as I can tell. Nutrition standards met, FDA standards met, but there is an issue with extended use. It seems that our early adopters, those who bought the cereal at launch and continue to use it for the past 3 weeks, don't have, how best to put this, any lips.
Wait. Okay, so you're telling me that over the course of a
3
3-week period...
3 weeks, yeah.
The cereal that we're now selling...
Stank Puffs,
causes the people who eat it regularly to no longer have lips on their face. The things that cover the mouth hole.
This would be the facially born lips that indeed cover the mouth and the teeth. It's unclear at this time whether they burned away or just kind of eroded. But I don't know if you've ever seen the extended version of Return of the King, the Lord of the Rings film, that has the scene involving the mouth of Sauron. It's somewhat similar to that. These people have the lips kind of shorn away, Almost looks like someone's gone at them with a pair of rusty scissors, and exposing their teeth in a kind of skeletal grin. It seems to be affecting people of all ages, children to seniors. The really puzzling thing is that as horrific as it is to gaze upon their ghastly skeletal visages, the people affected don't seem too bothered.
Yeah, how are we hearing this from you and not from...
the news?
Yeah.
Well, a few family members have written some complaints to the company, but the actual people affected haven't. And in the case studies we've looked at, obviously I take all complaints seriously, if I'm not doing anything important, like playing Game Boy. And I have examined some of these situations. I actually went out to visit a family, and it was horrible. But the woman of the household was fine. Husband, 2 kids, none of them have lips, but seemed really happy. I mean, I asked them about their condition. They said, what condition? I showed them the mirror. I held up a mirror and showed them, and they seemed surprised. Oh, that is unusual. Did not know that was a thing. What they said, and then just went back and chatted and said, asked me why I was there. And I said, well, we're here to talk about the condition. And they, again, seemed puzzled. And I showed them again, and they seemed, I won't say pleasantly surprised, but their surprise was not tinged by any form of anger or distress. The wife, of course, horrendously distressed. Her entire family, in her words, had been mutilated. But all of them seemed to be writing off her concern.
I mean, that's odd. I think we can all agree that that's odd.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's something that we have to worry about litigation over. The only problem is children, I think. Being, still sort of property of their parents and so forth. Like, parents might be able to sue us for something like that. But any adult, if they're fine with it and they don't observe the issue, we're okay, I think.
Plus, the kids are especially creepy. They look like something out of Jacob's Ladder.
Yeah, but in reality, I mean, what do you really need lips for? To speak, maybe?
Again, I had no problem understanding them. They were a little bit drooly. They're having a bit of trouble keeping in fluids in their head. But, again, they're not bothered. They seem to be functioning perfectly normal. Some of the kids, especially in the family that I spoke to, the kids are being bullied at school. They're having tinned food hurled at them, calling them things like, skull face. Or a few of them, I mean, these are 8 years old, but they're making references to They Live. So, there are concerns. But again, the children, I mean, I saw one of them take a can of creamed corn directly to the back of their head. Didn't even feel it.
No reaction, just thud and just kept going?
Just like it, I mean, the other kid was, I want to say, maybe 16, 17. Lobbed it over him. I think the kid was like on the baseball, like the school baseball team or something, and it hurled. Like if it had hit me, it would have done actual bodily harm. Like it would have caved my head in. It may have killed. Like that was a fatal throw. She did not notice. Stubbed her toe later in the day. Bawled her eyes out. Apparently, if it's related to the lips, doesn't affect them.
So this cereal completely numbs almost any pain, is what you're saying.
Almost any pain if it's a direct result of them looking like a lipless freak.
Hold on a sec. Let me grab a box of this. Let's see here. Wheat, sugar, morphine.
Should be morphine.
When did we decide on that?
You're putting morphine in the cereal?
Pass it over here.
Yep.
Let me have a look at this shit. Yeah, right. Well, that is morphine. Okay, that's morphine. Yeah, glucose, of course. High fructose corn syrup, of course. We all have concerns about that, but what can you do?
Yeah, I'm very, very concerned about the amount of raw sugar that's still out there in the wild.
Absolutely.
It is so much cheaper to go with HFCS.
I mean, you don't need that much high fructose corn syrup. I mean, that's at like 20%. And the eye of Sarah Katash is only 5%, so really it's entirely too much sugar. I think that's what the problem is.
The eye of Sarah Katash?
The eye of Sarah... I'm not sure if I'm getting the pronunciation right, because there's a lot of apostrophes. The eye of Sarah Katash Yeah. They told me this was all standard ingredients. Obviously, I'm a little concerned about the morphine, but I trust them.
Trust who, exactly? Who brought us this product, Jim?
Some people.
This is Balthazar in the basement, isn't it?
Huh? What?
You've been hanging out with the Satanists in the basement again, haven't you? They got you to market a cereal that rots people's lips off.
Oh, Jesus.
The guy had a mustache. Balthazar doesn't have a mustache. He told me that legally that made it okay.
Gordon Ramsay's back this week, back at work.
Really?
Back?
Yeah.
What do you mean back?
I know.
Dog Island.
Dog Island, right? Yeah, that project did not work out the way that we thought it was going to. It seems that on the island, Gordon, rather than, weeping in a puddle like we kind of expected him to and going mad, that man's assertive. And he knows how to rally a team. And he developed a whole hierarchical structure with him at the top, commanding and controlling these dogs and building a society as the mighty Bone Lord there, I guess.
So he basically became the king of Dog Island.
Yeah, he became the king of Dog Island,
Okay.
and that actually could have made for really good, compelling television.
I'm interested. I mean, I want to see what feudalism is like with dogs.
Well, we had the cameras there, didn't we?
Yeah, and I could tell you a little bit what that was like. It was a lot of back sniffing going on. A lot of closed door meetings. The dogs figured out very quickly how to avoid cameras, so it was hard to tell exactly what they were all doing at all times. But it seems through a series of deals and complex Machiavellian plots, the dogs staged a rebellion and overthrew Gordon Ramsay.
What?
Yeah. There is now, as Gordon put it, a Dalmatian upon the biscuit throne.
There's a throne of biscuits?
I'm actually genuinely worried, because I've got some photos here that you can look at about, what has been happening on Dog Island. Mm-hmm. And as you can see here, I mean, it's only been about, 6 weeks since we put Gordon on the island.
Yep. Okay.
Look at the structures that have been built.
Holy shit.
Oh my god. I
mean, I'm not as up on my history as I used to be, but these look very genuinely like British medieval fiefdoms.
Right.
I can see, if I'm looking at the structure here, I mean, this farm work here, this is crop rotation I'm seeing.
There's a full irrigation going on.
Yeah, there's a fallow field.
They've gone totally agrarian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Look at the arches in these church structures.
No, I am genuinely concerned.
The one with the feathered hat, I mean, is that some sort of feudal lord or baron?
I can only guess.
And the other one's in sackcloth. Dear God. I'm looking at the note that you've added some notes here from Gordon, but apparently one or two of the dogs have been taking up veterinarianism so that they can neuter a couple of them and put them in elegant robes so that they can become the king's eunuchs.
It's a bad sign.
Well, yeah, I mean, betrayal and intrigue and whatnot. I mean, this essentially looks like a Game of Thrones situation with dogs. Game of Bones, if you will.
So, obviously, Dog Island is a complete disaster as a, reality show. We burned all the footage.
What?
No one will ever know. No one will ever know this happened.
Well, maybe for the best.
Conrad.
I don't know, Caitlin. I mean, if this gets out that we've basically accidentally started dogs on the evolutionary path of humans, I mean, look how quickly they're doing this. I'm assuming because dogs don't live as long as people.
Well, yeah, it's, what is it, 1 human year is 7 dog years? I mean, think about how much they'll be able to accomplish.
And I mean, if they're already at the point of medieval feudalism, like, these guys could outpace human society in a couple of decades.
But yeah, I'm thoroughly concerned that by 2030, we're going to have, a race of dog masters that have developed a society that's beyond human comprehension.
Screw the dog masters. You threw away the equivalent of dog Game of Thrones. Do you realize the cash value of that? Of that property?
Not if we're all in prison for war crimes.
I think we
I
can
don't know.
take
I
that
mean,
risk.
like, I would have loved the actual footage that goes with this picture here, where there's a Dalmatian with a crown pointing with his paw out into the ocean, and a sad Gordon Ramsay in exile on a raft that I'm guessing they built for him. I'm assuming that's how he got back as well.
Yeah, so, they basically built a raft for him and pushed him out to sea. He got picked up by some crab fisherman somewhere out there and brought home. And so he's been resting for the last week. It's not good.
So you're saying the dogs are still on the island?
They're still there.
Well, we have to go back.
Do we?
We have to go back to the island.
Do we have any more chefs on our client list that we could send there, though?
I mean, if we're not going to cash in on Game of Bones, we have to do something with this.
I mean, I am in favour of just ignoring it and hoping it goes away.
Yeah, I gotta go with Jim on this. I would really, really rather not get caught.
I mean, look at this last photograph. Like, they've discovered gunpowder.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah, like I'm actually fairly certain that in a decade or two, these dogs are going to basically attack New York, and I don't want to get the blame.
But I will build a bomb shelter.
Yeah, I'm thinking of actually neutering myself and offering myself up as a vassal to the king.
Gentlemen, there has been an ass explosion in the media that we have to address. Now, I'm sure you all have seen the pictures of Kim Kardashian's behinds.
I'm furious. I am. We had her on our books before she got as big as she did, and now her ass is the talk of town, and FistShark doesn't get a look in.
No, we clearly missed out on our opportunity here when we had her. I mean, how could we have known that ass would have been this big?
I have seen ass blow up into something large from time to time, but never anything on this scale. Like, I mean, it is the biggest ass play I've seen in major media in decades.
They played it good. I saw it, and I almost had to applaud our rivals in the business for magnificent ass play.
But we have to cash in before the ass declines.
Well, absolutely.
That's a given.
Absolutely. We've got to... Really, ass is the hot topic right now. And, okay, yeah, we've seen someone rest a wine glass on their ass, but can we get deeper than that? Can we get deeper into this ass?
I think we can. I think we can do this. Who do we have on our list? Who can we pull out?
I don't know, we really need someone that can... Again, like, when people talk about asses, they get so vapid. Oh, look at that ass. Let's just stare at an ass. No, let's explore the ass, right? Let's look at what the ass has to offer the world. What can we pull out of the ass and into ourselves?
All right, so let's go through our headshots here. No ass shots yet, but we can surmise from these.
Well, we can look at the face and then guess what the ass looks like, and then offer up to let's aim big, Time Magazine or Heat, and see if they want to feature one of our asses on the front page.
Yep, so at the top of the list, of course, we always have Val and Dean. They're permanently up there.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Val has a... Excuse me. An ass.
Yeah. Dean Cain, I mean, I've seen him naked and crying, and I don't think the two of them come without the other. So I'm not up for it. Plus, I don't think he washes it.
Well, we have Vince.
Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn.
He's been very secluded lately. He keeps working in a garage somewhere, and there's a lot of screaming and the braying of horses in there, and I don't know what's going on, and I'd rather not contact him for a while.
Now, Kevin Sorbo, this would have been a good one maybe 20 years ago.
I mean, he's not been drawing much positive press to himself, and I don't think him whacking his cans out is going to help. How about... look, Paula Dean actually has sent us an ass shot.
Oh.
Whoa.
That's awesome.
That is truly impressive. Like, I knew that the fatty fried foods were going to, result in a round figure, but actually, those frumpy clothes she wears, she's just hiding that waist.
Apparently, and you know,
Well, the proof's in the pudding, right? I mean...
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a bit worried that the skin tone seems very different from her, you know, from what we see in her face and hands.
That is odd.
And I don't think I've ever seen her in a pink thong with Daddy's bitch on it in diamonds.
Yeah, with a stick of butter. I mean, that's a good angle.
You know, I really didn't want to think about Paula Deen in a stick of butter in that way, but the ass is thoroughly impressive.
It would get attention.
It certainly would.
I'll put her in the maybe pile, although, as I say, I'm a bit concerned that ass... I mean, if I imagine that lower body on the top body, it doesn't seem like they work together. I feel like she may be trying to dupe us, but I will put it in the maybe pile just in case physics don't work the way I'm thinking they work.
All right, so moving on, we know we always have Bret Michaels. He's up for anything.
Yeah, but he'll insist on getting Bret Michaels tattooed onto each cheek so that we are constantly reminded that he's Bret Michaels, as if we could forget.
Yeah, and then we have... What? Wait, this is a cartoon scribble of... What does this say here? Bono Vox? Jim...
Bono Vox is a front runner. I mean, I hear he's got a magnificent ass, and we could easily find him some work and some coverage.
Did you draw this, Jim?
What?
Or is this another one of Val's?
I have no idea what you're talking about. It must have been Val.
All right, I'll toss it in the nose for now.
Okay, but I will have a word with Bono and see if he's up for it.
All right, you do that.
Mm-hmm.
What about Gilbert Gottfried?
A question I ask regularly.
He's like the opposite, like the total opposite ass. Like, it's a contrast thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think if someone were to ask me, what is the opposite of Kim Kardashian, I think I'd say Gilbert Gottfried.
You might have something going on there, Conrad.
Maybe we'll reach out to Gilbert. We'll see if he's up for it. And I mean, he seems to be up for pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe we can get the same photographer. Pitch it to, I don't know, Playgirl?
I think he's definitely worth pursuing. While you do that, I think I'm going to finally see if we found a use for Daniel Radcliffe's brother. Give him a call. See what Muddy Radcliffe is up to.
Muddy? I don't know that I've met Muddy.
Oh yeah, he signed on with us shortly after Goblet of Fire. They're not identical twins, but they look very similar. Except Muddy's got one hand bigger than the other. Quite significantly bigger than the other, actually. It's like a catcher's mitt. But he's got no real talent apart from being Daniel Radcliffe's brother, and he doesn't look enough like him to be like a celebrity lookalike or anything. But he's funny. He's funny. I remember when he chose a Heath Ledger mask, but without the Joker makeup on, so it was just Heath Ledger. When he robbed that post office. So that was fun. It shows he's got a warm sense of humour. He does a lot of robberies. I'm hoping that maybe if his arse is up to snuff, he won't have to rob so much.
How much does his ass look like his brother's?
I don't know. I mean, if it takes after Daniel and not Muddy's right hand, because Muddy can't even fire the sawn off with that thing. Like, he's lucky that none of the clerks at the places he's knocked over haven't figured that out yet. Like, his finger isn't even on the trigger. It can't get in there. He just kind of holds it. And then, says, "Give me the fucking money or I'll shoot you." Like that.
Well, if his assets, so to speak, are up to par, we could just paste it on there. Front cover magazine. Radcliffe.
Mm-hmm.
No first name necessary.
Radcliffe's ass.
Radcliffe's ass.
Look at it. You idiots.
FistShark Marketing is Jim Sterling, Conrad Zimmerman, and Caitlin Cook. Dr. Nightscream was written and performed by Toby Deshane. Theme music by Ben Rama. Segue music by Alizar Chan. Our editor is Nick Malone. Get more episodes and learn how to help support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistsharkmarketing@aol.com. And remember, judge a person not by the color of their skin, but the content of their portfolio. Goodbye.